So listen, everybody, thank you so much for turning up today. We have got Saeed with us today. Hey, Riaz, thanks for turning on, mate. Morning, Saeed. How are you, mate?
Yeah, not too bad. Not too bad. Looking forward to it.
Hey,
Hopefully I'm gonna give you guys something a little bit different today. I want to keep it interactive. I want to make sure that you guys can actually walk away with something. I've prepared an entire document that we'll go through, which pretty much just breaks down how I signed my first five AI clients and how you guys can pretty much apply the exact same thing. How you can approach businesses, how you can sell them an AI system, and more importantly than that, where to find these businesses to sell these AI solutions to.
awesome, mate. So I'm quite excited about today because we've done a lot of stuff like lately. We seem to have done a bit of a run of AI webinars and AI tech, and here's a different way of using AI for the video or chatbots or creating images or GPTs or whatever it might be. But we haven't done anything about like how do we actually sell it to clients? Like how are we going to make money out of this, right? We need to get leads, we need clients, we need to make money out of it. Otherwise, we just sit there with shiny object syndrome all day long, playing with the latest GPTs or Claude or Manus or whatever it might be, basically. But we need to get clients, we need to make money out of all these systems as well. So that's what we're going to cover off today, mate. So I'm pretty excited about that. So thank you so much for coming in.
My main focus is on taking the exact same things that I did within my own agency to get me from zero to 50 clients and helping other guys like you, helping people like you actually implement those things that I implemented myself to get me from zero to 50. Because the tech stuff and all of that, like Gary said, is very cool, yes. But it means nothing if you're not able to sell it, guys, and if you're not able to monetize it, right? And that's the most important thing. How do you monetize it? And how do you do it properly in a way that's consistent to bring you new clients every single month? So, yeah, hopefully we can get into that a little bit deeper on this webinar here today. Cool. So I'm going to give this entire guide away. I'll drop the link inside of the chat towards the end of the webinar as well. But pretty much what we are going to be walking through, right, is the entire guide to landing your first five AI clients. Now, I call it a seven-step framework. Now, this is the same framework that I implemented to get my first five AI clients. This is not just theory, guys. This is the same framework that I used myself. And it is the same framework that I've used with my own clients who are also running their own agency now. One of those clients being Josue, who implemented this framework and signed 10 clients within 30 days. He's now making $30,000 a month. And within that first 30-day period that me and him started working together, he signed 10 clients, all paying him high ticket prices. The first part, right, is understanding the framework and understanding a weakness within a certain business that you can go into and actually offer an AI solution for. Every single business has strengths and every single business has weaknesses. Your job is to identify where their actual weakness is that's costing them money. You need to figure out where are they not really good at so you can plug into that area and offer a solution that AI can solve for them. So let's do an example for a plumber, right? Most plumbers, what are they good at? Most plumbers are good at fixing pipes and drainage issues, physical plumbing work, and actually completing jobs. Plumbers are good at what they've been trained to do. Plumbers are good at, going out to someone's property and fixing the pipes if there's an issue there. What plumbers are not good at is answering the phone and speaking with people. What plumbers are not good at is actually nurturing conversations and turning those conversations into booked jobs on their calendar. If we look at the plumbing industry as a whole, it's really a male dominated field. And most of these guys are usually hyper aggressive because they're getting their hands dirty all day. They're not doing sexy work, right? They don't like having to pick up the phone and speak to people constantly and nurture those conversations into actual booked appointments. Now, that is an area in which they are weak because if they cannot do that properly, if they cannot pick up the phone and have nurturing conversations which convert those conversations into booked jobs, then they're missing out on opportunities. Then they are not taking those leads and booking them into their calendar and collecting that cash. Most plumbers, they're missing X amount of calls every single week. And if they are missing X amount of calls every single week, they are in an industry that requires speed. If I have an issue with my pipes and it's leaking and my sink isn't working, I do not care if that plumber calls me back or not. If he doesn't answer the phone first time round, what do you think I'm doing? I'm finding the next person and I'm calling the next person. I'm calling their competitors because if I have an issue with my sink, I need it fixed yesterday. I don't want to wait for someone to get back to me. He's in an industry that requires speed. He's in an industry where if someone's sink breaks at 7 p.m., they are calling multiple plumbers until someone answers, and whoever ideally can fix their issue the quickest is the person that wins that business, is the person that will win that job and ultimately collect that cash. We all clear on the problem side of things so far, guys?
Yeah, and I would say that as well I'm sure everybody has experienced this with trade people. Like you call them up and they go, "Oh, I'm just on a job at the moment. Can you call me back later?" They will even
Yeah,
ask you to ring them back. I'm like, "No, I'm not ringing you
of
back,
course
mate."
not.
Like,
Yeah, yeah.
they're
No, no,
unbelievable.
that's not. Yeah, and that's the issue they have, right? Because they're great at what they do,
Yeah,
but they haven't been trained on sales. They
not
haven't
at all.
been trained on marketing. They aren't good at these things. But for every single business to thrive, every single person on this call here today is a marketer, is in some way, shape, or form a salesperson, right? We understand that these are two things that you need to have a successful business. And if plumbers, let's say, for example, lack in that area, you don't need to train them on becoming better at sales. You don't need to train them at becoming better at marketing. Why don't you just offer them an AI assistant that can pick up every single one of their phone calls 24/7, books jobs directly into their calendar, handles initial customer screening, and never, ever, ever misses a lead because they're on another job, or hey, can you call me back? Or because it's after hours. That bot is going to be able to work 24/7 around the clock. And guess what? It doesn't need to wake up on the right side of bed. It doesn't need to have a coffee to feel like it's fired up for the day. It operates in the exact same way. It approaches every single phone call with the same energy, with the same tone, and with the same objective of taking that person and converting them into a booked job into our calendar. Now, I know voice AI right now is like the sexy thing that everyone's talking about. The high level group chat is going crazy with it. And most of you have probably already heard of it before, right? Most people that I speak to, they charge 297, 497 a month for it. If you're charging low ticket prices, it's because you're solving essentially a low ticket problem. The way I look at it is I want to position myself in a way where I can solve a big issue which pays me big bucks for. Now, if I'm offering them a solution, right, that can save them from missing 7 calls per week and their average job price is $200, I position myself like this. Mr. Plumber, you're missing 7 calls every single week. And let's be pessimistic. Let's say only three of those people actually turn into real clients. That's $600 that you're losing out on in revenue. Now, in a month, that's $2,400. And in a year, that's $28,000 you're losing out on just because you can't answer the phone or just because you're telling people to call you back because you're currently on another job. Now, what if I gave you an assistant, Mr. Plumber, that answers every single phone call 24/7? You'd invest $12,000 a year or 997 a month to potentially recover 28,000 plus in lost revenue. So he's cash positive $16,800, and that's with me being pessimistic, guys. Out of those 7 calls, I'm saying only three of them turn into clients. And plumbers probably charge a lot more than
Yeah, I
$200.
was going to say $200, mate. That's
Yeah.
that's their just their
I'm
step in the door fee.
exactly, and I'm being super pessimistic,
Yeah.
right? I'm being super pessimistic, and I'm still showing that they are able to still get an ROI positive of $16,800 a year, right? Now, in order to come to this conclusion, you want to do the maths with them. You want to actually break it down for them on the call. And these are the few questions that I ask, right? Number one, of course, how many phone calls do you get in total every single week? So, how many people are actually calling you every single week? And from those calls that are coming in, how many do you actually miss? And then, of course, what is your average job price? Once you have this information from the plumber or from the business, you can then reverse engineer the math, right? You work out, okay, they get X amount of calls booked in total, or X amount of calls coming in total. They get X amount of calls that's missed every single week. And if they're missing X amount of calls every single week, that means they're missing out on X amount of dollars every single week. That's how I reverse engineer it to actually show them what they are leaving on the table. Because going to someone and just saying, hey, I've got a cool voice AI system, it's going to answer your calls, they don't care.
Mm,
All these businesses care about is can you actually help them make some money? Because that's the only reason why they pay you in the first place. And if you cannot show them,
mm,
if you cannot show them how you are going to do that, and if you cannot make them believe that they are even going to be able to do that, then they're not going to pay you. And they're definitely not going to pay you a high ticket price for it.
yeah.
So making sure that they actually understand the math behind why they should pay you is really important. That
Yeah.
will make sense so far, guys?
As I say, there's only really two things that people buy, and it's time and money, and then they want
Exactly.
that to be easy. So they don't want to put in any
Exactly.
effort into getting extra time and money. So you got to show them that "Hey, we're going to save you time. In this case, we're going to make you extra money, and I'm going to make it easy for you. You don't have to lift a
Yeah.
finger to do it, basically.
Exactly. And what we are doing here, right, is we're offering a strength to what? The problem that we have identified within their business. We know they're not good at answering the phone. We know they're missing out on X amount of calls every single week. They're already weak in that area. Whether they decide to work with us or whether they decide not to work with us, that problem is still going to be there unless they address it. And that's how you create the urgency. You create that urgency by positioning yourself in a way where it's like, look, whether you work with me, whether you don't work with me, you're still missing out on those calls. Those calls are still going to your competitors, and they're probably collecting that cash. You're still going to have the same problem, whether or not you work with me or not. So why don't you, right, input something into your business that strengthens you where you are weak? Not only are we going to help you save the missed calls, not only are we going to answer all the calls after business hours while you're at home with your wife, but now you don't ever have to answer a phone call again. You don't even need to speak to anyone on the phone. You don't enjoy doing that anyways. So we take one whole boring task that you didn't even enjoy in the first place. We take that off your plate and we actually strengthen you in that area because you're not very good at it anyways. So why don't we give you something that allows you to be strong in that area, which in turn means more booked jobs in your calendar, which in turn means more cash collected for your business. It's simple, right? And when you break it down simply to them like that, you're now positioning yourself in a way where you can get paid these high ticket prices. Cool. Now, this is the universal script, right? It's inside of the document. It pretty much goes over what I already covered, but you guys will get access to this script, like how you actually ask them the questions, and stuff like that. Step three, position yourself as an AI consultant and not a bot builder. Now, this is super important. I get paid high ticket prices because I solve a high ticket problem. And on top of that, I am not positioning myself as a person that just builds a bot for someone. People who are seen as bot builders are what? They're seen as low value technicians. Consultants, we can command premium prices and long term relationships. I focus on actually getting my clients results. I'm not just building them a bot and leaving them on their own to figure it out. I'm building a system for them that is specifically designed to actually help them get results. I'm sitting down with them once a week, taking them over all the calls that our bot handled in that week. How many appointments our bot actually booked for them in that week? How many minutes our bot spent on the phone and the week over week improvements. the revenue generated and recovered for this specific person. Now, when I sit down with them and I actually crunch the numbers with them, I show them why it's valuable to continue paying me every single month. I'm sitting down with them and I'm positioning myself in a way where I am now a consultant. I am now sitting down with them and telling them, okay, you know, we booked X amount of jobs this week. I think if we maybe tweak the introduction message of our bot or X, Y, and Z, we could keep people on the phone for longer. If we see that our average call duration is 1 minute, for example, we might need to change the script of the bot in order to keep people on the phone for longer because we know when people are on the phone for longer with us, they're more likely to actually convert into a booked appointment. I'm pointing out the issues within the system so that I can then go and fix that problem and make sure that it continues to convert for this person. Now, the way I position it, right, is AI is only as good as the context that you can provide it. If you go to Chat GPT right now, or if you go to Claude or whichever your favorite AI program is, and you just give it a basic prompt and you don't give it context behind what you actually want it to do, you get a weak response back in return. It's the same exact thing for voice AI. It's the same exact thing for any AI that you use. AI is only as good as the context you provide it. And I say this to every single one of my clients. The first call that the bot will make will be the worst call it makes because it has no idea on what it is doing well and what it needs to improve on. But on day 100, it's going to be 100 times better than that first day. Why? Because it has 100 times worth more data. It has 100 times worth more reference points to look back at and actually say, okay, this is an example of me having a good conversation, and this is an example of me having a bad conversation. I obviously need to focus more on having more good conversations. Now, when I position it like this, I say to every single one of my clients, cool, you've got the system now. Do you actually want this system to convert week over week? Do you want this system to keep converting? Or do you want to just run off with it and try it on your own? These guys are not tech savvy. They don't want to run off with the system and try it on their own. That's not the reason they paid you in the first place. So, of course, they are going to want to continue with you. And your job is to literally just sit down with them once a week and crunch the numbers. Okay, guys, this is how many calls we made this week. This is how many jobs we booked this week. This is how many minutes our bot is spending on the phone. You crunch the numbers for them and you show them possibilities of improvement, which show that you haven't just built them a bot, you've built them a system that's designed to acquire clients for them. And on top of that, you are actually sitting down with them every single week and helping them improve that system to continually get results every single week, every single month. You're improving it, right? And if you're doing that, people see you as valuable. They see you as the reference point. They see you as the go-to person when it comes to this system. Not only have you built it for them, right? But you're now their consultant that they can speak to you about maybe even other business issues that they're having. Because when you position yourself in this way, they see you as someone who's actually a revenue generating partner. Because that's essentially what you are. You take this bot away from them, you take this system away from them, they're going to feel it in their chest because you've built them something now that they are reliant on, that without it, they cannot generate the same amount of revenue that they are currently generating. All sound good so far, guys?
Very good, mate.
Cool. So, step four. Step four is the scalability secret, right? And in step four, we're going to be going over how to actually make something like this scalable because you don't want to be doing done for you, kind of. You don't want to be managing everything for your client. You don't want to be inside the weeds of your client's business 24/7. That's not scalable because you're one person. And one person only has a finite amount of time and energy every single day. You need to build something that's scalable. And the way I would do that, right, is just focus on getting one client. I think people are so focused nowadays on trying to do everything at once and complicating things for themselves and trying to sign 10 clients before they've even got that first client. Get that first client. sign that first client, and use that first client as essentially your lab rat. Because all you are doing with this first client is trying to prove that your concept works, is trying to prove that you can actually get results. And once you've done that, you now have something which you previously did not have. You have leverage. And when you have leverage, when you have case studies, when you have evidence of you actually being able to go into the market, provide a solution, and actually get people results, people see you in a completely different light. People jump on the call excited to speak with you and actually trusting that you are the person that can help them get results. So you're going to use your first client as sort of a lab rat to prove that your concept works, to try and actually get them results. And once you've done that, once you've figured out how to get that person results, you want to productize it. Once you understand how this person actually got X and Y, Z results, productize it. Take the same bot, the same prompt, the same workflows you used on the back end, whatever it is that got that person a result, you're going to productize it and sell it to 50 other people. Now, if I built that solution for a plumber, I used that first plumber as sort of my lab rat. I just tried to prove my concept works with him. I built something where I am now confident it can get other people results. All I'm going to do is I'm going to find 50 other plumbers. Guess what? I'm selling them the exact same bot that solves the exact same problem. I'm not recreating anything from scratch. I'm not building anything from scratch. I've already proved that this bot can get results. I've already proved that the concept works. So now my job is focusing on selling it to as many people as possible. And essentially now this becomes a digital product where you're spending what, 15 minutes onboarding a client? And after you set them up that first time round, after you onboard them, you only have to sit down with them once a week to go over their numbers, which again is automated. This is making sure that you're building something that's scalable, that can actually go on to sell to multiple people, and you build it one time. You build it one time, you put the legwork in one time for that first client, and then every single client after that, you're basically reselling them the exact same thing. All clear? Is there any questions, Gary, or are we good to keep going?
No, we're good to keep going. If anybody's got any questions, please remember just drop them in the chat. I'm watching it there, mate, but I haven't got any in there at the moment. But
Okay. Awesome. Awesome. So we'll keep cracking on then. So now let's move on to the part that a lot of people are here for, right? How do we actually find these clients? Because at this point, we understand how to find a weakness in a business. We understand how to offer them a strength to that weakness that they have. And we understand how to make our product scalable, right? Now, where do we even find these clients in the first place? Now, if you're looking to sign your first 5 clients, ideally you want to do something that is easy to do. You want to make it easy for yourself to get results, and you do not want to make it difficult for yourself to get results. Sending thousands of emails every single day isn't exactly making it simple for yourself or making it easy for yourself to get results. Now, a hidden hack that literally nobody talks about is going onto job sites like Indeed and finding people that actually are posting jobs about hiring a receptionist. We can even do it right now where I go to Indeed, and on Indeed, if I go and search, let's say real estate receptionist, I can see right here there's what, one, two, three, okay, 3 jobs right here, couple more actually. But all of these jobs are people who are literally posting on job sites that they need to hire a receptionist.
mm,
All I need to do is reach out to them directly and apply now. Instead of them hiring a receptionist, guys, you come across and say, hey, you're going to pay a receptionist what, $24,000, £24,000 a year. That works out to like 27, $28,000 a year. Why don't you just buy our AI receptionist for $12,000 a year? And it's going to be able to do all of these things that your receptionist can't do anyways. And it works 24/7 around the clock. You're literally going directly to people You're reaching out directly to people who are literally advertising that they have a problem, guys. That they're literally spending money on this ad with this job platform to be able to get people into solving the problem that we've already solved for this industry. Now, if you go and search up, let's say, for example, a plumbing receptionist, whatever it may be, right? You'll see all these different jobs of people looking for people to sit on the phone, answer phone calls, or make phone calls and book people into their calendar. All these different jobs, you can literally clear all of them out. This is the easiest way to actually go and sign your first one, two, three, four, five clients because these are people who are spending money on actually getting others to apply to their role as a receptionist. You come across, you deliver your voice AI assistant in a way which is more valuable than what that receptionist could have delivered for them, anyways, right? So, key search terms I would look for like outbound dialer or phone receptionist jobs on Indeed. There's a bunch of different job platforms out there. It doesn't need to be Indeed. There's so many different job platforms out there. You can literally just go onto Google and just search up receptionist jobs for real estate or plumbers, and it will just show you a ton of different listings. All you need to do is reach out to every single one of those guys. When you apply to them, show them your AI solution, literally send them a link to have a conversation with the bot. Now, the bot is basically interviewing itself to that person that we've applied to. They're having a conversation with the bot. And if the bot is built correctly and that person gets wowed away, now they come to us and this person already knows what we do. They already know that it can actually get results. They already trust it. They've had a conversation with it themselves. And that leverage that I was talking about earlier puts you in a position to be able to charge high ticket prices for it. So 24/7 phone receptionist for plumbing company, never miss another call. That's like a job title when you're applying that you can use. Um, and then in the description of the job, and I've attached like a cold outreach script that you guys can also use, right? Step six, there's a bunch of different niches that I've included. So like HVAC, lawyers, restaurants, medical practices, all these different people who have all these different problems, who all need a solution to their problems. And then I've included a implementation roadmap, right? Week 1 to 2 is really setting out your foundation, understanding which niche do you have a competitive advantage in. I was a realtor, right? I decided to start an agency targeting realtors because I had a competitive advantage there, because I spoke the same language as them, because I knew that I could relate to them more, right? Research common pain points, understand what is the weaknesses within that niche that you have decided to target. Create your positioning script, create your script which shows that you are strengthening them in that area which you have found they are weak. And then set up a basic AI system template. There's so many ways on doing that nowadays. I'm not going to walk you guys through that. And then, yeah, in week 3 to 4, you really week 2, I would say, or even in week 1, this should really take you no longer than a few days. This foundation step right here should take you no longer than a few days. You want to start with speed because the quicker you're able to do this and the more people you are able to reach out to, the higher chances you have of people actually booking a call with you, people being interested in what you do, and people wanting to speak to you. It's all a numbers game. Anything outbound is a numbers game. And the more jobs you apply to, the more people that you send your bot to and you send your proposal to, you have higher chances of people responding, which means higher chances of people booking, which means higher chances of you closing your first 5 clients. That is the entire framework that I use, and I'm going to share the document with you guys inside of the chat now. Come
Just
back
pop
to
that there.
the,
If anyone's watching this after and replays YouTube, my group,
yeah.
wherever, we'll make sure the link is, above, below, sideways, somewhere in the description with this video. So we'll make sure that you can grab it in there as well.
Cool. Is there any questions or we cool? Let's see if there's any questions.
Man, I've got a question for you because I mean that's pretty cool.
Sure.
I've never seen anyone present that as an idea to actually
Yes.
apply for jobs for what you're building an AI receptionist for. That's just a really neat idea. So if you were
Yeah.
going to do that, I think you kind of said it there anyway, but I just want to clarify that the way that you would do that is, can you go back to that email that you had for a second on your document there? You
Yeah,
had
yeah,
like
sure. Give me
a
a sec.
template email said, "Hey, I'm applying for your job, whatever it is, receptionist."
Yeah. So obviously you want to tailor it a little bit more to be a little bit more specific, right? So
Yeah.
like, hey, notice your whatever you are in area, quick question, how many potential customers do you think call you when you're already on a job or after hours? Now, this is going to be a little bit different because you're reaching out to people who have already posted a job, right? Now I'll put like a standardized email that you can send out to apply to jobs as well, but really, all you are doing is you're copying and pasting this same script for if you're applying to plumber receptionists, you're sending the same exact message to all these plumber receptionists, right? And what you can do is you have a simple message like, hey, we noticed your job listing on Indeed or whatever it may be. What if we could actually implement an AI assistant into your business? You don't ever have to look for a receptionist again. It's going to answer all your phone calls. It's going to book all these people into your calendar, and you don't have to deal with someone, off days or not waking up in a good mood or all these different variables that apply to humans. I sound like the Terminator right now. Um, but you don't have to worry about all of these variables. We're just going to implement something that is directly going to get you results from day one, and it never ever switches off, even after hours. It's 24/7 around the clock. So I think that's a good idea, Gary. What I'll include inside of here, as soon as we jump off as well, is like a standardized job application that people can use so they can take it and add their own spin. Obviously, it's going to be different for the niche that you're applying to, but yeah, it really is a good idea. And it's like a hidden hack that not a lot of people use. And that's exactly why you should be using it because no one else is.
Yeah, well, what I was thinking is, and you had it in your framework there anyway, so maybe this is part of your steps anyway, like set up your standard AI receptionist, and I would be having in that email, I'd have my standard AI receptionist set up that would, if someone rings it, it says, "Oh, hey, my name's Jenny.
Yeah,
I'm just interested in the job. I'm looking to work as a receptionist. I don't have the
mhm,
full details about your business at the moment, but I can learn really quickly and I can be ready to start with you tomorrow. Ask me any
exactly.
questions that you'd like. I'm always here ready to help." Whatever. Just have some very friendly receptionist there who's not going to be specific. They're not going to know the name, but I would have that and a phone number in that email that says, "Hey, if you want to give us a call, we'll pick up your phone 24/7. Give us a ring and just interview us now," and have that prompted for a receptionist that's interviewing for a job. You can't give it specifics exactly, so you'd have to have it be a little bit generic. And then I don't. This I love the idea, mate, because this makes me think of even the next steps. Is be like, okay, so if someone
Yeah,
rings that, they're going to come into high level. I'm then going to send them a text message after they've
exactly.
called me and says, "Hey, thank you so
Yep,
much for interviewing Jenny. Where would you like to
yep.
go next? We can also do
And
automated follow-ups for you to your calls." You know what I mean? And then they'll be like, "Oh shit, I've just spoken to Jenny, and now Jenny's
yeah,
texted me." Like you could blow
yeah.
people away with that if they make that call.
110%, you hit the nail on the head there. That's the whole aim of the game, right?
Yeah.
You now convert that interest. All you need them to do is like either pick up the phone and actually call our assistant or click on our link. What I would do is usually I'll include a link right here where I'll say you can test our assistant right now, right? They click on the link and it takes them to literally just a sales funnel where it shows all the different examples of what we've used Jenny for. And then they have a button, obviously, click here to call. As soon as they click here to call, they're picking up the phone, they're speaking to Jenny.
Mm.
As soon as they speak to Jenny, like you said, they're coming into a high level system. We're sending them an automated email or follow up with a text to try and actually convert their interest into a booked appointment. Now, guess what? When they're speaking to Jenny and Jenny is interviewing for the actual position, Jenny can say, okay, would you like to speak to, Gary? He's the guy that created me. Would you like to speak to Gary so that we can talk in a little bit more detail about how this whole system would come together and how we can actually get myself implemented into your business as a receptionist. And Jenny will literally book that person into your high level calendar, Gary.
Yeah.
Now, she's booking.
Yes.
We've applied to their job. We've applied to their job, right? But
Yeah.
they've booked into our calendar to discuss our solution. So you can get super creative with it, just like Gary has done. And there's so many different spins that you can add into it, which just make it a lot more creative and a lot more powerful.
That's a really good idea, mate. Guys, we're going to have a lot of questions. People said that's a cool outreach, awesome presentation. Guys, even if you just think that's a cool idea, can we get a little thumbs up for so? Because like I've
Yeah,
never seen anyone with
please.
that idea before, and I think that's actually really cool, mate. Because that is what we kind of came here today to sort of talk about. Like, there's all these cool ideas around AI, and we can do this, we can build a bot, we can book appointments, we can do that. But where do we get these leads from? And that is a really neat idea because you're solving we talked about, first of all, solving the problem for the business, the plumber, who we know has got that problem. But now we're finding the people who've got that problem, they're looking for that solution because they're actually advertising for that position. So that's a great little intro. And it is a numbers game. And I think we all
Yeah.
need to understand that too and go, yep, not everybody who's
Yeah.
applying for that position is going to want an AI receptionist because they're going to say, oh, no, wait, we actually need a person because we want someone here who's going to file something. I don't know, whatever they want to do as well. But there'll still be a number in there. And I would even
Yeah.
I'd be using Manus or something to go away and scrape the
Yeah.
job sites for
Of
me.
course.
That's what I'd do.
Yeah.
I'm not sitting there all day.
Yeah. You wanna automate it in a certain way as well, of course. I didn't want to get too technical on this webinar here today, but if you guys think it's a great idea, or maybe, we can get back together and we can get into the depths a little bit of how to actually automate the outreach for these job posts as well. Because yeah, sending 5 job posts a day or applying to 5 job posts a day is not going to get you results. If you want to get results, ideally, I would be recommending doing at least 50 a day.
Mm,
At least 50 a day will get you, let's say, if you get 10% of people, so out of those 50, 10% respond, 5 people are interested. Out of those 5, you just need one person that's genuinely interested every single day. That's one person booked into your calendar every single day. Within a week, you've got 7 people. Out of those 7 people, you don't even need to be that great. You just need to close one person out of that 7. Bear in mind, they've already tested your bot. They've already had a conversation with it. They're already somewhat sold on the idea, otherwise they wouldn't have booked a call with you. You just need to figure out what is the objections or what is that 20% that's holding them back and get them across the finishing line.
mm. That's it. It's math, right? It's math.
Exactly. Exactly. It's just reverse engineering. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Do the math, walk through that path and just keep going. And don't be afraid as well. I think you highlighted that really well in there about
Mm,
um, using that first customer as your test case, right? So it's
mm,
always harder to get that first customer and get it right. And you're going through it because you don't have the systems, you don't have the process, you don't know what you're doing, you don't know what to say. Your bot breaks and you don't know how to fix it and you're not quite sure how to prompt it or all these things, right? It's just there's always the challenges of the first one. So I think you have to go through that and accept that that's always going to be a bit of a challenge with your first one as well, and use
yeah.
that as your proving ground. And I liken this to or doing that because I get asked this all the time. It's like people go, well, how should I start? What do I do to get started? And I say, well, I always say pick 3 businesses and friends that you've got with the business. Go to those 3 friends of yours and then say, hey, what's a problem I can solve for you? Solve one problem for them and then get a case study, get a testimonial and do that for free. And then once you've
Yeah.
solved that, you've got case studies, testimonials, and then you can go to the market and you don't charge for those ones, right? That's the price of admission to starting your business. And I know a lot of
100%.
people, they look and say, oh, I need to get to, 10K a month seems to be the magic word, whatever that
The
people are looking
holy
for.
grail.
It's the holy
Yeah.
grail, 10K a month, right? But you might not get there in
Yeah.
your first month or two. You might not get anywhere at all, right? So
Yeah.
that's the price of admission is putting in the yards early. I
Yeah. I mean, think of it like this, guys. Sorry to cut you off, Gary, but think of it like this. For the first 7 months of me running my agency, after I branched out to those realtors that were a part of my team, I did give it away for free also. But for that 7 month period where I was trying to find other agents, I was getting no's every single day, and I was jumping on at least 5 sales calls every single day for 7 months because I didn't position myself correctly and I didn't understand how to actually build leverage and attract people to want to pay me. A lot of the people that I speak to, they think, oh no, I'm dead set on charging up front. Number one, you've never ever worked with a client before. You don't understand what their expectations are. You don't understand how to actually fulfill for that client. You don't actually have any experience in fulfilling for that client, meaning you don't have the skills to fulfill for that client. Really, that first client you should be doing for free. And I agree with you completely. I say that to a lot of people, and some people agree, some people don't agree. But the way I look at it is if you work on that first client for free and you just get things right for one client, just one, you are not trying to build a profitable agency from one client, are you?
Mm.
You're not going to build a massive agency from one client, but that one client is going to build you up to be able to get that 10th, 20th, 30th client. Because what you do for that one client allows you to, number one, actually get skills in dealing with clients. You understand what it takes to actually get that client results, and you understand what it actually looks like to set expectations for clients and the expectations they also set on you. You get experience in dealing with clients, you get experience in dealing with the service delivery, and that gears you up to be able to now deal with multiple clients. When you go and approach client number two, you have so much more leverage because you have a case study. You feel way more confident in what you do because you've already proven that it works. You're essentially knocking out two birds with one stone. That person who stays dead set on charging upfront even though it's been 6 months and they haven't closed anybody yet, that person that stays dead set on that path, it takes them 6, 7 months to close one person. That person who starts with one person for free, within what, the first month, 2 months, they probably got five, six, seven clients already because they've built something that has longevity to it, which has leverage.
Exactly right, mate. Exactly. And I think maybe going off track a little bit here, but I
Yeah.
think we live in this Instagram instant
Yeah.
gratification world, and people sit and they see people going, "Oh yeah, I started my agency, and now I'm 6 figure agency, and I've got a Porsche and a Lambo, and I'm flying first class, and that." Everybody wants that. They want to get there. There's a path, guys, and a lot of that's like if you're following that stuff on Instagram and stuff, it's all most of it, 99% of that's all BS anyway. So right, we have to just throw that stuff away and just figure out where you are and where you want to get to for you, and then step along there. Thank you so much, Si. Thank you everyone for coming along. Thank you for your
No worries.
questions. If you're watching the replay, check out the document, the link below, wherever it is. Connect with
Yep.
Saeed in school, his YouTube channel. Hopefully, you're in our Facebook community or our other community. If you've got questions, you can ask Saeed, you can ask us. Like, we will help you through those things if you've got questions as much as we can, guys. So, there's a great opportunity for you to get out there with that one. That just follow that simple framework that Saeed's taken. Take the first step. Like, how do you eat an elephant? One bite at a time. All right.
Yeah.
There you go.
Thank you so much,
Appreciate it.
everybody.
Appreciate it. Take care. Thank you very much, everybody.